July 19th, 2026. Rolling out of Mountain Falls, making the right turn on US 64. First stop, Huntsville, Alabama, to go to the US Space and Rocket Center. Also, big shout out to our friend Harold Mahaffey, Big H, who I can't believe got up this early to wave as we went by down the mountain. And special shout out to little Miss Katie Suggs, who made us an amazing farewell dinner last night at her house in Burlingame. See, it does make it hard to leave Mountain Falls when you wake up and there's a beautiful sunrise and your friends are all sad to see you go. But that's why we RV. This is a 50-night adventure for us, so let's roll, baby. Word on the street is that you can park at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center with an RV and trailer right in their parking lot. Make it a pit stop. We'll see. I do see rockets to the right, so lunch of champions. Here we are at the U.S. Rocket and Space Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Skinner's making the dog a little lunch. I got some leftover brisket here on a baguette and Lale's potato chips. So here we go.
We have like 3 umbrellas. We can't find one.
I know, we don't have.
I guarantee we got.
I have 18 umbrellas. I just don't know where any of them are.
We usually have them in the tow vehicle. But we don't have a tow vehicle.
Here's the big parking lot, so you can see we are parked over there. I will say it was a little stressful when we first entered. It said the visitor parking was to the left, and it was pretty crammed and full. But if you keep going to the very back where the big exploration white building is, then there's tons of parking. It's pretty cool. That's a NASA Saturn F1 engine. That's the Saturn V right there. Whew. All you Prevost guys are like 30 minutes behind. Oh crap.
God, that's a read.
Yeah. Brand no Prevost over here. My 605 Cummins, baby. My 605 Cummins and that Zephyr
70.
hauled the mail. Noé over here was trying to get rid of weight.
Oh, shit out the window.
Throwing crap out the window. Hell, by the time we got here 30 minutes early, I already had lunch done, fed the dog, and put makeup on.
You know I'm standing right beside you.
All right, so this is kind of cool. When we were buying our tickets, we told them that he's the great-great-grandson of William Lafayette Quick. And so they're walking us to go see it. So I want to get Mike's reaction.
Wow. Now, I read somewhere that he was too big to fly the 1908 version, and that he had his teenage son fly this one. Because he was too, he himself was too big to fly it.
Which that probably would have been your, what, grandpa? Great. I got to get the lineage right.
Well, my father's name was Jim Quick, and he was an engineer for McDonnell Douglas and Lockheed at some point in time.
Is that, so are you, where are you? Are you from Florida then?
No, from California.
Okay.
My mom,
Kind of where the airplane industry went to.
The mom soldered up all switchboards for McDonnell Douglas, like the cockpit stuff. And my dad was an engineer. He did a lot of the development on the first L-1011 that they did back in the day.
So we tell everybody that the Wright brothers just had better PR.
Which is true in some ways, actually.
Yeah. Tell again what you said about the Wright brothers. You had to lay down with their, and then
they laid they laid sort of like on their belly, face first, in order to manipulate the control surfaces of the airplane. And you'll see the quick plane that we have here that from 1908 has a seat that you actually sit in upright, and there's a wheel that you use to control it, which was one of his innovations, actually.
Before we get that engineering mind.
Yep. It's true. Genetics. Oh man, that feels good. Look up.
That's it.
It is. That's it.
Huh? And you can also get a good shot going up the stairs. So we have the signage up there as well.
This is it?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
But you see the chair and also the wheel right in front of it, rather than having to lay down.
So it was not a rotary engine, it was just like an old, like one of the early Ford motors or something. I don't know what.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the motor. I know like the wings were inspired by his like study of vultures.
And they probably had to prop start it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah.
Just look
A
at
little water pump
lights
and radio.
tire, wheels.
That is cool. I gotta walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the wings were designed after a vulture. Here is an interesting part, especially since Michael's a race car driver. There's the steering wheel. The Wright brothers, you had to lay down. The Quick was built to sit upright and steer with a wheel.
Look at the steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's got pulleys and pulleys, so it's pulling this lower thing. Oh, you know what? It's got to be up and down. So I bet where he put his feet is doing this to go up and down, and this
To
is
create
turning
lift
right.
or
Right.
to
Right.
let it go back down.
And look at the seat. Man, you thought race car was bad.
It was high tech.
Look at that.
1908.
Look at that. A medal and a strap.
But even then, other than the frame was wood, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh my God, I thought it was metal.
Yeah.
It's wood.
But there is. Look at the cap. It's metal.
Even then, it looked like they were really considered about weight. I wish I knew what that engine was. It looks like an old Ford little 4-cylinder.
He gave me a website to contact somebody that he said has a ton of more detailed info.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Look how the wings are concave down.
Yeah.
You know, in a regular airplane, they're not.
Like a,
Like a what did they
Like a
say?
vulture.
Like a vulture when it flies.
If you're thinking of lift, it would be throwing the air down. I bet this thing was to fly.
I guarantee it. Every landing was a crash landing, right?
Yeah.
Here's the best part though. So they talk about William Lafayette Quick, which would have been Mike's great-grandpa. This sounds like Skinner. Vivacious individual, blacksmith by trade, inventive genius, skilled with mechanics, inspired by wildlife and nature. This design was flown in 1908, 5 years after the Wright brothers' first flight. In 1912, Quick applied for a patent for an approved version of his flying machine featuring retractable landing gear and a steering tail wheel, ideas that would become integral parts of airplane design years later. But here's the cool thing. He did get the patent for the retractable landing gear.
Yeah.
And the crop duster.
But that's not on this one. That's
No,
on the
this
later
was the initial.
one. I bet that thing was ill as hell. You catch a gust of wind, those wings would probably.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's the Saturn V rocket.
That's what we had heard, and then all of a sudden
That's
you
what we
come in
had
here
heard,
and
and
you're
I'm
like, oh, there's the Saturn V rocket. Holy moly, you don't realize how big it is until you're like, that's insane. Those are some engines right there. There's just a ton of really cool exhibits. I mean, I just now walked the whole length of the rocket, and it is, you don't realize how big it is until you actually walk all that. A lunar rover vehicle. Okay, this is cool. Get the chairs. It's like I'm laying out on the moon.
It's insane.
So here's what I want to ask to you. They said that this folded up. That's why it had to be designed like that, because it had to fit in the rocket.
Yeah, you can see where they got the brackets built around where it folds up.
Look at the wheels.
I know. Because there's no gravity where it's going to go.
What's the little gold foil for, I wonder, right there? Looks like it's wrapped like little gold foil. I wonder, it had to have
It's like cameras. It's just electronics, camera, I would think.
The chairs cracked me up because they look like a layout chair.
They're like a freaking launch.
Right, here we go. Apollo 16 command module. Apollo 16 flew to the moon and back on April 16th, 1972, right before I was born. There it is.
How they just laid in there.
Talk about being claustrophobic. Okay, so Mr. Race Car Engineer, what did you discover on the Apollo 16 command module?
Well, a lot of the little heims and the linkages and everything, they still use that in race cars today on a lot of stuff.
All right, take us inside the RV, Noe.
Come on, come this way.
It's the Apollo 12 mobile quarantine facility. Very nice in here. Oh wow, look at this. This is great. That's 70s right there, baby. 60s and 70s. Oh my gosh. Hey, when did the microwave come out? Did they have one before us? All right, gentlemen, I'm taking bets. How long before Skinner falls asleep during this presentation? It's a $20 It's a $45-minute planetarium experience.
We were not into it.
And I have a feeling that he's going to be asleep within 21 minutes.
Is he going to snore?
Oh,
and
he
wake
heard you
everybody
say
up?
20 women.
Yeah.
Is he going to snore and wake everybody up?
No, he'll be quiet. He'll just have his mouth open like he's dead. Like we'll be concerned. Love you, baby.
Okay, 10 minutes.
You got 10?
10.
I got 21. What you got, Jim?
How long is this thing? I thought you was only
Huh?
5 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
I know.
Well, he's been driving.
I
so
didn't-
I'd say
Me
10
out. I
minutes.
got to go to the bus.
He's been driving, so I'd say 10 minutes.
We did get up at 6 a.m. And he does have to watch the race tonight at 7, so there's that.
4:45.
All right, Skinner. 27 minutes.
I made it pretty good.
You woke back up for Uranus.
Yeah, you heard Uranus.
Everybody started yelling, and you kind of went, what? I'm in Uranus? I won the bet.
You did.
He was fast asleep, head down. But then again, Jim fell asleep too. No way, you stayed awake, didn't you, or did you sleep? Yeah. We stayed awake. The kids stayed awake.
My right one.
Hey, babe, what was that senior discount for you and Jim, by the way? Baby?
Not much.
This is how obnoxious it is to travel with me. I'm just warning you. Day 1, are you sure you can go 50?
It gets worse.
This is one of those RV resorts where it doesn't look like the website.
Exactly.
It's quaint.
It is.
It's quaint. This is the Red Coach RV lot in Toney, Alabama, about 24 miles kind of north of the Space Center. Here's the issue. These are pull-throughs. There are lots of trees, and we barely fit. Now, we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work by God. We got a NASCAR race to watch. We got World Cup finals, and the British Open still going on, I think, right?
No,
or is that
it's
over?
open. It's
Okay.
open. It's over.
So anyways, I don't know. There was supposed to be like a really cool little waterfall featured in the website.
We haven't walked to see it.
Okay.
We gotta walk
Carmen's
and see
being
it.
positive. I'm laughing because I don't know if this is the most big rig friendly. We're gigantic compared to everybody else in here. They all got the memo. Obviously, we did not. Houston, we have a problem. Or should I say Huntsville? Huntsville, we have a problem. So here's our spot for the night. As you can see, Skinner cranked her in there. But we've got Jim and Noe's brand new 45-foot Prevost with a stacker.
I guarantee you they've never seen a rig like this.
I know, that's what I
pull
just
into
said. I feel like we're the first time we've ever had a
Thing is
stacker in here. Okay, here he comes.
Beautiful.
He'll be coming around now. Oh my God, I don't know how he's gonna make this turn.
Mike, once he gets past here, Mike's gonna just have to back up.
Oh, okay, that's what they're gonna. Little Tetris, we're gonna play Tetris. I will say one thing, that is a gorgeous paint job, Dean. Dean Lovis. Paint job on here that is just stunning. Come here, Clyde. Ooh. Oh, that stressed me out a little bit. I want to go move that truck. Oh God. Watch that truck! It's that truck I'm worried about. Mike, watch that truck trailer. Babe, maybe we should ask those folks if they just move the truck back a little.
Can't hear him.
Move the truck back a little bit. If those folks, okay, never mind. Moving on. Of course, my depth perception is not as good as Michael's. Oh, how are they gonna get past that? Look at Noe's on the radio. Oh, no. There's a big pole there. What? Stop. Oh my gosh. This is why I can't drive an RV. There's a tree. There's a big tree. Even Clyde's stressed out. Look at Clyde. He's like, I love you, Uncle Jim, but I don't know if this is a good idea. My God, he did it. Wow. Did we look at how to get out, though, before we did this? Coffee recap here. First of all, I'm going to start this. Thank you for that little drive-by, Clyde. A toast to Tiffin Skinner.
Yes.
For a 605.
For all that horsepower they stick in these
Oh my gosh.
beautiful Zephyrs.
This is all in fun, so we're not trying to be ugly. Our friends that have a Prevost, brand new, couldn't keep up from
It's
now.
only $3 million.
We laughed so hard. They were like, "What in the world? Where are you guys?" We're like, "We're not speeding. I promise. We are not
Had the
speeding."
cruise set on 71, but it'll run 71 uphill or downhill.
That's the difference. We were leaving the mountains and then we were going to northern Alabama. Where's our dog? Okay, now, very important because I need to educate y'all, and I don't like to be negative or say anything
Uh-oh, I have
ugly.
no idea what's getting ready to come out of her mouth.
Well, no, if you are a big rig like us, Red Rock in Toney, Alabama is not for you.
No.
Their website is misleading. That's all I'm gonna say. It looks like a much more accommodating park.
You could get a 45-foot bus in here, all right, but if you're pulling a stacker or a trailer, it's hard. It's just wasn't really thought out real super good.
No.
For small campers,
It's perfect.
It's really nice.
If you want the vibe like you're out in the woods, there's
Yes.
lots of lush greenery, but it's
more
all
like
gravel.
real camping.
It's like
We're
real
spoiled.
camping.
We like to glam.
Well, it's just because it was hard. So as you could see, driver Jim, who
He did a hell of a
did
job.
a hell of a job because they have a brand new Prevost Liberty and a stacker, and when we pulled in, we barely fit, and we have a 24-foot trailer behind our 45-foot bus. So all in all, it was a fun day, a little stressful trying to get these big
The
rigs
rain.
into the park. It kept raining, but the rain stopped.
Got my Zephyr all dirty. Now I'm gonna be like my friend John Morton. I'm not gonna be comfortable until I get it washed.
Well, we're headed to Little Rock today. We're going to be there for 3 nights. Our friends have a beautiful home there. You're going to golf. We're going to have some cookouts.
And they're joining the caravan.
And they're joining the caravan from there. So, and we might have a couple more joining the caravan. I think the caravan's a little concerned right now because our 2 people here, the singers and Jim and Owe, are, the first stop is this.
Who booked this?
Oh, she did. So I'm just warning you all, don't book this. Don't book it if you have a big rig. There's also a lot of red dirt, mud.
That's okay.
I don't like that because I have a
lot
dog.
of pretty grass, a lot of pretty trees.
Yeah. And here's the other piece of advice too that I want to say. I usually always read reviews, but sometimes you got to be careful because some people are jackwagons and they leave crappy reviews and they're like real picky, silly things. Well, there actually was one bad review on this place, and it was basically saying it's not big rig friendly, so don't advertise that you are.
Like when you go down one aisle to go to the other aisle, it's too tight for a big rig.
Yeah.
It's perfect if you're pulling a pull behind your pickup.
Oh,
truck.
yeah.
It's perfect for
So just, read the reviews, watch our videos. Usually if you have a question about an RV park, we've been doing this now for a few years, we might have, done a little
We've probably
feature.
stayed there at one point in time.
And we even usually tell you what lots are the best ones to book if you can when you go back. So there's our piece of advice. Toast to Tiffin, 605 horsepower, baby. On to Little Rock now.